is Tzvi Lebetkin, the rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And we're up to day 24. Day 24 of our 50-day program to supercharge your connection with God. If you're somebody who doesn't believe in God, this might not be for you. If somebody believes in God, this might indeed be for you. And we are in an interesting time. We're in this time called Sfirat HaOmer, a 50-day period, which is why we're doing this 50-day program right now, where, you know, crazy things can and do happen. It's basically where the spiritual energy of the whole year comes from, like the stuff that makes the spiritual reality comes from. Boom, comes down in this 50-day period, and boy, is it a strange one this year. So I was watching the news this morning and looking at everything that went down over the last couple of days in America. I'm seeing all these churches be attacked, and churches have to have security now, and it's absolutely a war against Christianity. I think it's a war against God. I think it's just starting up, and it makes sense it's happening happens in this time. And when I see churches need security and being attacked and everything, as a religious Jew, I'm like, well, first time. It's like, well, yeah, welcome to the game. Yeah, you get used to it. It's okay, you get used to it. Hopefully we won't have to get used to it for long. But anyway, I think these things are here to give us obstacles for us to overcome, give us like incredible challenges for us to see through and see God within it, and that is how we supercharge ourselves. It's like Rocky, right? You always had those great scenes in Rocky where he works out and he's getting strong. Now that's it. That's exactly it. And in Rocky 3 where he doesn't really work out and he gets like pasted by Mr. T. Exactly that. This is it. We're in that working out montage right now. So as I said, we're on this program where we're looking at 6 mitzvahs, 6 commandments. A mitzvah is a commandment from the Old Testament, all dealing with one's interpersonal relationship with God. It's coming from this book, The 6 Constant Mitzvahs, available now from Amazon.com. I assume it was online. It's not online anymore. So we are on the 3rd of the 6 Constant Mitzvahs. We looked at in depth on what faith is, what faith in God is, what it looks like, right? So we did that. Then we looked at not having any other gods, not going to idolatry, not assigning power to anything other than God, right? So that was number 2. And now we're at to number 3. That God is one. There is nothing other than God. Even in the darkest times, God is there. Actually, I heard a great analogy about that. About how is God there in these really dark times? How can you really imagine that? And so somebody gave it, was it? I think Rebbetzin Sapora Heller, one of the most brilliantly intelligent people I've ever met. She's in her late 80s now. I mean, she's very clever. If you're a Christian and you want to do a deep dive into Psalms, she's written some of the greatest books on it that really go deeply into what each word means, and it's like Shakespeare. It's absolutely beautiful, right? Like way beyond me. Anyway, so she described it as, imagine God is a light from a candle, right? And then when one sins, it's like one closes a curtain, and you can still see the light of the candle through the curtain. You sin again. The light gets dimmed more because you close another curtain and another curtain. The light's still there. You can still see the light, but that's why it feels like darkness, right? So that's basically, but the understand that light is still there. That is believing in the oneness of God. So let's see what we have to say today. Planning, allow for change. Right? That's always a good idea in planning. Mussar works. Mussar is everything is like a Megillah. Everything is a thing I have to explain. Okay, Mussar is a movement started a couple of years ago in Judaism, essentially to bring emotional connection to Judaism. There was another one called the Hasidic movement, and both these came about as a as a response to the Shabbatai Tzvi crisis, where a bunch of people really totally believed this guy Shabbatai Tzvi was the Messiah, right? Completely believed it, and then he converted to Islam. Not so much anymore. Good of Islam, because they said they was going to kill him. I mean, really? I mean, like, haven't you really read any of these holy books where they say, you're going to put your life on the line for God? Yeah, you're supposed to do that. No, he didn't. So that didn't work out. Anyway, so in a book called Misila Shisharim, the pathway of the just, I think, the pathway of the righteous, I think, of the straight. Mention the need to set goals and track our progress in reaching them on a regular basis. Good idea. Really good idea. Like, a great thing to do is there's a cheshbon cheshbon hanefesh, which is an accounting of one's soul. Right? You basically work out what your goals are, what your spiritual goals are, what your goals are in your personal thing, how you want to act, and then you do a daily recap of like how did I manage, and by clearing away the cobwebs, by like not having it be able to hide, because the Satan likes to hide, but anyway, it really, really focuses you. It's great. It's a great thing to do, which I haven't done for years, but it's a great thing to do. It's a great thing to do. Indeed, it's doubtful that one can grow spiritually without setting goals and making proper plans to achieve them. We must be aware, however, that we are not in control of our lives. Boy, am I aware of that. We are not in control of our lives. We may find our efforts being hampered from time to time. Yes, I am aware of that feeling. Or we may find that our plans are entirely impossible to implement. Yes, I am aware of that feeling. If we do not master the oneness of God, this commandment, we will become frustrated when we are unable to reach our goals, and we may well blame the impediments on external forces. Which again, that'll put us in conflict with the second of these commandments of not having any other gods, because everything comes from God, right? Living with the oneness of God allows us to be at peace with our efforts when our efforts are thwarted. Well, maybe not quite as much as mine, but okay. Because we accept each subsequent challenge as a message from God, we are secure in the knowledge that our efforts are not in vain. Each step of the way is guided by God, who wants us to succeed and grow. We know the only true setbacks are those caused by the failure to overcome the challenges or the failure to read messages that God is sending us. In my experience, religious Jews will do anything other than read the messages that God is sending them. I mean, we'll do literally, well, not literally, but we'll often do anything else. So fit everything and everyone into your plans. Part of the oneness of God then is to make your plans that are not too clearly defined. If you plan to study from exactly 9 to 10, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., you will become distressed when your plans are disturbed. Whether your health or family obligations, if you family obligations and friends, if you make plans flexible enough to accommodate all factors in life, when you set this is just like practical advice. Well, I guess it's good. When you set a milestone, you realize you may have to adjust it. The oneness of God means that God communicates with you constantly, and He may redirect you by using using infinite methods at His disposal to thwart your plans. Yeah, listen, God doesn't really need to do that to thwart my plans. You know, He's can pretty much do that without raising much of a sweat. Don't allow your plans to become so sacred that you cannot adjust them. And don't feel like failure don't feel like a failure if everything you do doesn't go according to plan. Don't come before God and say, here are my plans, this is where I'm going, and this is the day I plan to get there. Please help me. Realize that it is His world, and all the obstacles come from Him, and that you should adjust your plans accordingly. So basically, he's saying you should make your plans on some kind of slide rule that also incorporates the existence of the oneness of God, right? Yeah, like basically, yeah. If God says okay, then I will indeed do this. Okay. So we learn in a thing called the Mishnah. They said we should think the world was created for me. Specifically understood, this means this seems extremely egocentric. In the context of the oneness of God, however, we realize that this is actually a challenge. If the world that was created for you, but the happenings in the world around you are. If the world was created for you, but the happenings in the world that were created for you, the world is your challenge. I think that's basically my worldview, right? This world was created to be a unique individual challenge for you, so you are able to grow. It's just that God is infinite and very, very, very clever, very, very, very clever indeed, and so He's able to make it so the world is made for everybody and has unique challenges for everybody constantly, so they're all able to grow and become better people. Some can help you become great, and others can cause you to. Oh, that's it. The world challenge. Each man, and woman, and child in your life was sent by God at that time. He felt you needed him or her for your growth. Some can help some can help you become great. Others can cause you to stumble if you do not withstand the challenges they present. Sometimes He wants you to learn from this person, and other times He wants you to help that person. And there are times when a person was sent to provide an example of what you should or should not aspire to be. That happens more than once. The same is true for every experience in your life. Nothing happens coincidentally. Each situation is sent by God to help you attain perfection. And yeah, that is really a fundamental keystone belief. It really is. We often feel though our lives are being pulled in different directions. And I think that fundamental keystone belief is really an area where people's of faith, the Christians and Jews, do not disagree. As I said, listen, guys, looks like from what I'm getting news, the Christians are now the new Jews in 2022. It's been a long time since you've been in the been in the Colosseum facing lions. So welcome back. We've all got our answers, and we should spend much of our time studying the Bible. I don't feel I should. I do feel I should. I don't feel that I want to. I just feel I should. Okay, should's the right word. But we also realize that we need to be involved in acts of kindness and reaching out and community initiatives and many other pursuits. We realize that we should be spending time with our children. Perhaps we feel that we must sacrifice some of that time we designate for Bible study for other pursuits, even relaxing. The oneness of God, understand the oneness of God means you're not sacrificing one spiritual pursuit for another. Bible study, acts of kindness, working with your community, child rearing, all have a purpose to cause you to come closer to perfection, to come closer to God. Yeah, I remember when I lived in Miami, it's about a while ago now. This will be early 2000s. My guess, early 2000s. On Sabbath you basically have 3 meals. You have like a small meal on Saturday afternoon, but a big one Friday night and big one Saturday. But you have a small one called the third meal on Saturday afternoon, right? And oftentimes you do that in synagogue. Yeah, you sit down. So there's a guy there who was very, very smart and very, 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 very learned, right? And older than me. And I was having a conversation with him and said, listen, you are smarter than me, and you know more than me. Your judgment will always be poorer than me. So he said, but why? If I'm smarter and more learned, why is that? He said, because you're not married, right? You're not married. The act of having children, the act of having a spouse, the act of like subjugating yourself and negating yourself for others on a constant basis, that does something to you, right? That does something to you that God wants to happen to you. Right, so like everything is there as part of the as part of your program to connect to God. You've got to see everything as part of that. Even going to a movie, even relaxing, right? Everything has to be about the oneness of God. They do not compete for your time, but they fit together for a puzzle of spiritual perfection. Oftentimes we get lost in what we think, that God that we should do for God, rather than doing what God tells us to do. Right? We do that a lot. There are times we must focus on Bible study and know how to emulate God. And learn his ways, and there are times when you must emulate God in practice. The key is to find the correct balance and not let one aspect of your service of God crowd out another. And it's important to remember that the dilemma that the dilemma itself was also created by God. He wants you to struggle with the question. It will be much easier if he wants you to struggle with it. It will be much easier if the Bible would just tell us exactly how much time to spend doing this and doing that, and how much time to spend doing others, and exactly how long to spend praying. But the road to perfection is full of difficulty and struggle. Necessarily so. Learning to gauge one's own capabilities, learning to assess all the responsibilities in life, and to invest the proper amount of time into each part of the growth process. God wants you to struggle with the dilemma, to make decisions and follow through in action, and be willing to adjust and change your plans when he sends you new challenges. Yeah, you got to stay fluid. You got to stay open, right? You got to stay open to be able to hear what God wants you to hear. All one purpose. Until now, we have been discussing the need that the correct balance between different types of spiritual pursuits. The oneness of God goes much further. How does it go much further? When we develop our plans for life, we tend to compartment. It's got a hyphen in it, and it's like confusing me. Compartmentalize. Oh, it's so much better. Compartmentalize, and we have a spiritual component that contains Bible study, prayer, good works, acts of kindness, and all other aspects of service of God. And we have another compartment for regular life activities: eating, sleeping, working, vacationing. We feel that we lead dual lives, splitting our time between holy activities that are part of our everyday service of God, and others that are materialistic and disassociated from God. So the oneness of God teaches there's no such division exists. The very same God who commands us to study the Bible, to do these things and to pray, also wants us to sleep, eat, and that we have our strength to serve him. He also wants us to support our families, all activities, ones that feel holy and ones that feel mundane, are all part of the service of God, as long as we engage in them in the correct parameters with the correct intentions. So we have a little story. When the milkman in a bit of Jerusalem called Bayit Vagan, means home and garden, passed away, Rabbi Eliyahu Lopin instructed the seminary students to attend his funeral. Well, he liked the milkman. Okay. When asked what's so special about him, Rav Eliyahu explained that he once asked the elderly milkman why he did not retire. He said, you are old. Why do you continue to rise at 3 a.m. and ride your donkey? I guess this was a few years ago. But ride your donkey out to the farm to purchase the milk, and then make dozens of trips up and down the steps and buildings with heavy milk canisters on your shoulders. These all seem reasonable questions, right? That they like, dude, maybe put your feet up. I do it, said the milkman explains, so the mothers will have milk to give their children. The man lived for connection to God. The man lived for performing commandments. Rev Oya continued. He did not work for his own livelihood, but to provide for others with the much needed stable. It's also appropriate that we honor such a devout servant of God by attending his funeral. A similar incident occurred when Rav Elia needed medication late one evening. He found one pharmacy stayed open until midnight. Yeah, and that was especially in the 90s, in the 80s. It was tough to find like somebody who had a phone, right? I mean, early 80s, but like in the 90s, finding a pharmacy in Jerusalem, right, that was open all hours, virtually impossible. Like virtually impossible. So he found out one pharmacy stayed open until midnight and traveled there to pick up the medicine. Thank you so much, he said. He said to the pharmacist, it was so kind of you to stay open to provide the medicine for those in need. Kind, said the pharmacist. I'm not doing you anyone a favor. By law, each pharmacy must stay open one night a week, and tonight is my night. I'm here because I'm required to be here. What a shame, Rav Elias wondered. If only he would have stayed open with the intention of helping people, you would be rewarded immeasurably for eternity for providing the vital service. Instead, you have shown us your efforts is for some money, which will be gone soon. This is a very good point. Everything, it can become sacred or it can become profane, just in the way that we frame it in our heads. And if we live with the oneness of God, everything is sacred. We must have the oneness in God in mind constantly because we are challenged by God every second, every day. That's a fair point. Sometimes the challenge is to go and study the Bible, and sometimes the challenge is to sleep. But that's not normally a challenge, actually. Actually, it is true. I'm not. I'm not. My wife and my daughters, man, they love sleeping. Oh, my older son's in America now. But my younger son, whenever he's home, like he sees my daughters on Sabbath, they get up as late as humanly possible, like 11, 12. Like we have lunch about 1. He's like, ugh, it's disgusting, right? It's disgusting. I'm like, I kind of agree with you. It's good. It's good to have a work ethic. Okay. Realize that God wants you to rest and wants you to serve Him better in your waking hours. Go to sleep for the same reason that you study the Bible and serve God and come close to Him. If you have an error to tend to, don't view it as a nuisance. Realize it that God sent it your way, and He wants you to grow from it. We have this idea in Judaism about being makabel your sorrows with simcha. What does that mean? Accepting upon yourself your misery with joy. Yeah, how Jewy does that sound? I think it must sound pretty Catholic as well. So, I guess great minds think alike, or fools seldom differ. One of the two, I'm not sure which. On a larger scale, when you're planning your life, you realize your life, your year, even your day. Place your activities into equation. Realize that one God has realize that one God has risen, has given you the responsibility of supporting your family and helping those around you and coming to know Him through His Bible. Don't balance two sides of the equation, weighing out your spiritual against your material. All factors should go on one side of the equation. As a result, and the result should be the sum of your complete service of God, right? Because if everything is about the oneness of God, everything is directed for the service of God. For everything you do and you acquire, acquire can help you along the road to spiritual perfection, which is the name of the game. That is the keep the eye on the prize that we are all heading for. So I hope you keep an eye on the prize and join me tomorrow. We're at day 25 tomorrow when we get actually halfway through. We're actually halfway through. Where are we going to be by day 50? I mean, literally, they're burning down churches. I didn't see that one coming. Okay, and it took about a week. I did not see that one coming. Where are we going to be by day? Who knows? I mean, really, honestly, who the hell knows? Stay with me on the journey, and we will find out. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.